Hello, class of 2021. Woo! It's so awesome to see you guys here today. I heard TNDC was quite active last night, and the streaking on the lawn was going till about 4 in the morning. I wonder if any of you were doing it. I don't know. As I look over the last year, I have a lot of thoughts and intense feelings about how everything has unfolded, and I know you do too. But above all, if I think about what's transpired, I just have an overwhelming sense of gratitude toward all of you, the class of 2021. You've really done an amazing job. You have persevered through a year that will probably be unlike any other one that you've ever seen in your life. Every other year after this ought to seem pretty easy, I think. You've risen to virtual cold calls. You've hosted innovative Darden Cup events and other social events. And most importantly, you've come together to support each other in a very tough time. I'll say more to you in the weeks to come as we approach to graduation, but let me just say right now, thank you so much, and I am so proud of what you've done. Amazing. I also want to thank the faculty and the staff who have supported you throughout your journey this year. It's really taken an entire community to come together and pull off this year. And today we're gathered to honor you, to celebrate student awards, honoring exceptional service and leadership. Today you're going to hear from your elected faculty marshals, Tom Steenberg and Lalin Anik. They represent all of the incredible faculty who have mentored, taught, and coached you throughout your journey at Darden. Your elected class speaker, James Peterson, and outgoing DSA President Megan Mckee will share some wisdom in the tradition of student leadership. I'm especially looking forward to graduation day in Scott Stadium on Sunday, May 23rd, and I'll offer some remarks then when we're together with you and your guests. Now to begin this celebration, let me turn things over to Senior Associate Dean and colleague Tom Steenberg. Voila.
While today is a day to celebrate great work and accomplishment, it's inescapable to reflect on the past year without experiencing feelings of loss. It's taken so many unique forms it's difficult to comprehend. In our community, we've lost loved ones to the virus, suicide, and other causes. And to make matters worse, some have had to grieve from afar. We've worried about our health and the health of loved ones, and we've been unable to provide the comfort we usually do. Some have experienced racism, homophobia, and xenophobia, and have worried about their safety while going about their daily lives. We've lost the simple but necessary pleasure of being in each other's company, and at times the isolation could seem almost unbearable, especially for those who live alone. The loss is particularly tough to endure because most of us here, despite a desire for more time together, are moving on to something new. We won't be part of each other's lives in the same way as we've been before. We know we will not have this experience again, and we may not be ready to go. So let's pause for a moment while we still have the opportunity and appreciate the time we've been able to share with the people in this community and enjoy each other's company. Look around, study the faces, experience the pleasure of being together in the stillness of the moment. As I reflect on the year that's been, what I most appreciate is that we usually found a way to show up. It was not always perfect. It took all our energy to get out of bed, to attend class or a meeting on some days, but we found a way to muddle through. We might have higher expectations of ourselves in other times, but we found a way to survive and move ahead, even if we were only by an inch. And on most days, we did much better than that. We were able to bring energy and attention to the work that needed to be done. We were able to grow as people and help others do so too. I'm grateful for all that's been done this year. I'm thankful to the staff for the compassion you showed in dealing with the steady stream of crises and the comfort you provided to those in need. I admire how you kept looking for solutions long after others would have quit. And the creativity you displayed in solving problems. I would not have been able to get through this year without your support and friendship. I feel like I've won the lottery to have you with me. I'm grateful to the faculty for the work that went into reinventing what we love to do. I appreciate the energy it takes to make it new amid so many competing concerns, and I'm thankful for the kindness you showed as we figured things out. Whether it was adjusting the grading scheme or redesigning classes as they were being taught, I knew I could count on you. I'm grateful to be able to share today with Lillian. We've been friends since she was a graduate student at Harvard. She's one of the lights in my life, and it's been one of my great pleasures to be able to work with her for the past 6 years. I love her energy. She always shows up and fully commits to whatever she does. She dares us to be better people and has the grace to sit with us when we're in pain. I know she will always be with me, but I will miss having her close. And finally, I'm grateful to you, our students, for all you did to help this year. I admire people who are compassionate and help others become better versions of themselves. When they face a challenge, they don't stop. They shift to a different gear and bring us along with them. Every year we have students who go above and beyond. But this year has redefined what that means. Moments of crisis can bring out the best in people. Having the opportunity to read all this year's award nominations was a reminder of just how much good there is and was. In a year surrounded by challenges, restrictions, playbooks that got thrown out the window, you dug deeper. You planned creatively, you listened thoughtfully, and you took care of one another. You created spaces for authentic discussions, and you pushed yourselves and your peers and us to be better people. Most importantly, you found the energy to create joy and hope for others. I wish we could recognize all the outstanding work that's been done this year, but that's not possible. There's just too many examples. In your remaining time, I encourage you to take it all in. The grief, the loss, the gratitude, the hope, and the joy. Letting these feelings commingle will help you make sense of your experience and leave you open to the possibility of things to come. And I believe you will experience moments of clarity and grace. And now I'd like to introduce your elected graduation speaker, James Peterson.
Well, the weather seems apropos. A little bit foreboding. Not really sure how this is going to go. And let's just clear the air real quick. I promised that I would shave. That was a lie. There's really no other way to say it. Apologies to my family that's certainly watching right now. Mortified. Class of 2021. What a time. I gotta say, it's a tall order to put a bow on this Darden experience, which is probably said every year, but maybe a little extra this year. I mean, what type of tone do we go with in this speech? Nostalgic? Vengeful? How about fatigued and downtrodden? I think we've all been there in the last calendar year. Sappy and blindly optimistic doesn't seem to hit the mark. And if I close with reach higher, farther, further, or any variation of dream bigger dreams, you're all free to throw fruit. Larry and Perry were kind enough to place it under your seat. It was left over from lunch. Well, let's let it rip and we'll see where we net out. You may need the fruit regardless. We knew that entering business school that these 2 years would be a challenge. And the past year was probably a little bit more than we bargained for. On this momentous occasion, we could dwell on the last year's frustration, uncertainty, anger, and loss. But the pandemic also opened opportunities to be selective about what we gave ourselves to. We were forced to forego some of the superficial, albeit fun, interactions, and in doing so, we're pushed to forge deeper friendships with smaller groups. These intimate groups required more vulnerability from each other and for ourselves. If I'm being honest, probably more introspection and depth than I would volunteer for, but I can say with assurance that being part of this community made it better. Not great. Would I order it off a menu? But better. We did it together. It wasn't pretty. We won ugly, with side chats in class, in small gatherings, in remote Darden Cup events, and social planning which confounded the leadership of Ivy Gardens. Together, as a community, and everyone here is part of it. Some may not feel that intimacy. Some might feel as though there were missed opportunities, that they left something on the table, or that maybe this whole business school thing was a bit of a folly. I think that's normal. You're seen. You're heard. I've felt that way. Isolated and a little overwhelmed. Second-guessing decisions that are too far past to reverse. In our last lecture, Laleen drew our attention back to the first day of class. We shared happy memories and humorous moments, Robert Gex's overly cheerful introductions, Samir's appetite for irreverent humor. But there was one thing we didn't really touch on: intimidation. As I remember it, class introductions went something like this. Jimmy Wilson, naval pilot with a background in government contracts. And I thought to myself, oh, that guy's a badass. Then Mika Sullivan, financial expert coming from the Philippines. Another badass. Sheen Patel, international consulting and analytics experience. Badass. Amanda Wiggins, background in prison education reform. Badass. Stephen Mann, PR and marketer from New York City. Badass. Tim Wills, acquisitions and valuations for 3M. Badass. I'll pause and say that this could be repeated 335 times over. This class is teeming with accomplished, intelligent, kind people. 335 badasses. And I want to emphasize that trio of characteristics, in particular the kindness. I mean, have you met Paul Gallagher? But I digress. On the first day of class, we went around and I offered what felt like a meek declaration of analytics and automotive experience. And the prevailing thought was, shit, maybe I'm in over my head. And then class discussion commenced, and what played out was stilted at first and fluent within 15 minutes. Students offering diverse perspectives, challenging each other, and pushing for a more comprehensive understanding. I raised my hand, I got in the mix, and the perspective shifted to, okay, maybe I do belong here. For you, maybe this moment didn't come. Maybe it's still coming. I can say confidently that no one is here by accident. Everyone here is exceptional. And if you're still sitting waiting for your moment of residence and validation, keep in mind, this isn't the end. There are people in our crowd today that will find happiness and fulfillment out of the gate. There will be people who find success and maybe a little less fulfillment. We have in our midst late breakers and those that will bomb out and change direction, finding that what they pursued at Darden isn't at all lined up with what they need. And there will be at least someone who got everything they wanted while they were here and will find themselves completely lost within 12 months. I'm familiar with that lost place. Many of you know my story, but in short, almost 5 years ago, I made a fundamental change to the way I live. At the time, I had a choice to stop drinking or face the near certainty that my path was headed for maybe jail, maybe homelessness, maybe just a life in lingering self-destruction. To be clear, that decision had been sitting on my desk since the time I was 16. But on the morning of July 28, 2016, we decided to make a choice to stop hedging. In the time leading up to that day, I was adrift, and that feeling hurts. Knowing the path you're on is headed to hell in a handbasket, but not being able to muster the courage to try something new. It was hard, but not necessarily bad. I needed the pain to push me to grow, to make bold decisions, to take action. The paths we tread will be innumerable. All of them will be great, valid, and educational, even if they don't always feel that way. It's a big, long game we're playing here. And if you get off pace, I recommend stopping and looking inward. There's likely something in there that isn't being given its due. It's there now. Take a moment and feel that thing. For me, it's a tick in the diaphragm, knocking, waiting to be let in. Take a breath and embrace it. You'll need it. We're leaving school to a world that feels chaotic, on the verge of reckoning. Sure, the market's blowing up and your crypto wallet may pay your student loans, but to me it feels like we're at a precipice. Outside of COVID, we've seen a year with police violence affecting our Black and Latinx communities. 292 police killings just in 2021. Xenophobia, we watched from TV or out our window as extremists invaded the capital of our nation, while some in power looked the other way or even endorsed it. Racism, institutional and overt acts of racial violence, especially against members of our Asian American, Native Hawaiian, and Pacific Islander populations. Homophobia and transphobia with transphobic legislation cropping up all over the country. And continued challenges to human rights, women's rights, and immigrant rights. These challenges are not new, but they have surfaced in the last year in overt and unavoidable ways. And it would be easy to say our community is isolated from these events, to say it doesn't happen here. But it does. Students and faculty of the AAPI community have faced harassment. International students have been held out of the country and forced to question their safety while here. Students of color, women, LGBTQ community members, and all those who share intersectionality with these groups face daily challenges ranging from microaggressions to overt offenses. So for me, the question becomes, what do we do as we move forward? As an individual and a collective. It's going to take more than a tweet, more than an Instagram post. It's going to take more than reading a book about your privilege alone in your apartments. And we learned this year that platitudes and emails of conciliatory remarks are not going to turn the tide. That's not to say education isn't important. The humility to learn is incredibly important. Hell, social media support is important too. But these means are familiar, comfortable. It's natural to hope that they're sufficient, but to my eye, we need more. We need the people of this community to stand up and to take action. We have in this community a myriad of skill and talent. We'll need all of it. We have people on their way to stations of high influence and impact. We'll need that too. Though I warn you, the action required may not fit the company culture that you find where you arrive. often separate from the one they touted in the pitch deck. The call to higher action is intimidating. I know. A chorus of, "What can I do? I don't think I'll do it right. Maybe I'm in over my head," rings out. Maybe not unlike a first day of school. So again, the question becomes, what do we do? Raise your hand, get in the mix, find something you can impact, and engage. Start local, your office, your neighborhood, your friends. Make a deliberate effort to help those in need and to put your values into action. What starts stilted and awkward at first will be fluent sooner than you expect. I can't tell you what this action looks like, you know better than me. But I can say that when I'm feeling lost, uncertain about what the next step, that tick in my diaphragm is awfully helpful. If you listen to that thing, you may find that it has the same appetite for action, to climb out into life, to sprawl and to grow. Foster that growth. It may very well be what separates making a difference and talking about making one. It may be what separates us from finding fulfillment and trudging from here onward. And you may find that more often than not, making a difference and finding your fulfillment are in harmony with one another. I have every confidence that the members of this group will rise to the occasion. We will be agents of change wherever we go. And when, inevitably, you run aground, you'll have a community to pick you up. Thank you to everyone gathered here today. To our administration, it was a tough year. As I said, maybe more than we bargained for. It featured more scrutiny than ever before. It required more creative thinking, more communication and difficult communication than ever before. Your effort did not go unnoticed. It's my hope that this year provided a renewed appreciation for the importance of honesty, transparency, and effective communication. And understanding that empathy pairs well with action. And that when the stakes are high, it's both most challenging and most important to uphold these values. I'm confident that you'll carry forward with the same appetite for growth that is developed in the student body. Thank you to our Darden support staff, especially IT and dining services, who made this hard year feel a little bit more like home. Perry, I see you. To our faculty and teachers, thank you for your guidance, for your compassion, for helping us past hurdles seen and unseen. To our learning teams, shout out 52. You picked us up, pumped us up, and together we made a family at Darden. And finally, to our partners and families, thank you for your support. Our accomplishments are exactly that, our accomplishments. We share this triumph as we have shared the challenges in pursuit. You are with us, and we are better for it. Thank you to the class of 2021. You've intimidated me, pushed me, taught me, consoled me, and set me on a path of action. It's been an honor and a privilege to learn and grow with you over the past 2 years. As we move forward, stay close. We'll need each other. All my love, thank you. And now back to Tom for the presentation of the service awards.
Thank you, James. It's my honor to announce this spring's C. Stuart Shepard Distinguished Service Awardees. Darden students give back in so many ways, and this year, despite being a pandemic one, was no different. I can share we had numerous nominations illustrating all the remarkable effort and endeavors of the class of 2021, and the selection process was not an easy one. So many of you have contributed greatly, and we thank you. Now for the awardees. Instead of asking people to come up, I'll just ask Sarah to come and find you at some point and give you the award. We can maybe stay out of some of the rain. Carrie DeJohnny, for bringing out the best in Darden through her leadership and service through the Student Orientation Committee and Graduation Committee. Carrie's unparalleled willingness to pitch in has helped elevate the Darden experience from start to finish. Pravaj Daria, for his steadfast commitment to as the Vice President of International Students for the Darden Student Association. Pravaj has served as a loyal and dedicated ambassador for international students and beyond, fostering a more inclusive and supportive community where all can thrive. Maggie Edmonds, for her exceptional leadership of graduate women in business. Through her tireless commitment, positive attitude, and willingness to push boundaries, Maggie has helped pioneer a transformative year and experience, not only for her organization, but for the entire Darden community. Sam Furstenberg, for her remarkable leadership of Women 2.0 at Darden, no stranger to advocacy, Sam's selfless work and thoughtful leadership have helped pave the way not only for a more inclusive Darden, but for generations of women to come. Henry Frost, for epitomizing the best possible Darden brand through his service to men as allies, the outdoor club, and SWAT team. Henry's infectious spirit and can-do attitude have helped brighten the days and lives of countless students, faculty, and staff. Miranda Gruero, for her unwavering support of the Darden community as Vice President of Diversity for the Darden Student Association. Miranda has left her mark all across Darden through her thoughtful leadership, caring personality, and tireless commitment to making Darden the best it can be for all. Kathleen Yontop, for her conscientious work in hand and as a consortium liaison. Kathleen's creativity, passion, and unsinkable spirit have elevated the voices of underrepresented communities and truly enhanced the Darden experience for her peers and future Darden student leaders. Rotimi Oyembiyi, for his passionate leadership of Darden African Business Organization. Rotimi is the definition of a thoughtful, inclusive leader, bringing issues of social justice, equity, and identity to the forefront of the Darden community. Rotimi's hard work and enthusiasm have truly made Darden a better place. Coco Woltz, for her exemplary service as Vice President of Outreach for the Darden Student Association and co-facilitator of Darden Stories. Coco's dedication, thoughtful planning, and genuine approachability have helped foster a stronger and more authentic Darden through sharing and service to others. Congratulations to our Shepard Distinguished Service awardees. I'll now turn it over to Luline, who will be presenting the Morton Leadership Award.
No, thank you. All right. It is my distinct privilege to announce the Frederick S. Morton Leadership Award. As Tom mentioned, the nominations were of the utmost quality, and selection was difficult. The committee ultimately decided the following two individuals who had showcased incredible above and beyond leadership this past year. Our first Morton Leadership awardee is Pam Fisher. In recognition of her exceptional service to the Darden community through her groundbreaking work with graduate women in business and beyond. An analytical thinker renowned for using data to drive thoughtful decision-making and recommendations, Pam devoted her time to improving life at Darden, inside and outside of the classroom through diversity, academic support, and growth of the Darden course catalog. Described as a force by her peers, Pam has left an unforgettable, lasting mark on the Darden community. Congratulations. Our second Morton Leadership awardee is Alex May. In recognition of his outstanding contributions to the Darden community as Vice President of Darden Cup, Alex's tremendous creativity, impeccable planning, and unflappable spirit created not only a memorable and transformative Darden Cup, but a strong, authentic sense of community, togetherness, and Darden spirit in a year when students truly needed it. In a year where some would have given up, Alex took things to the next level. Thank you and congratulations, Pam and Alex, for your tremendous contributions. And now, here is Mckee, your outgoing DSA president.
So I got my second vaccine last week, and I was feeling pretty woozy. It got worse throughout the afternoon, and at night, I took a really long shower. And as any good MBA student does in the shower, I started thinking about my deliverables for the week. And in that feverish state, I'm kind of going like this. And I decided this is the perfect time to plan my graduation speech. I decided in that moment, I had this brilliant idea. My entire speech would be a metaphor about my two dogs, Renegade and Grizzly. So for the next 10 minutes, I'll talk about my dogs. I hope you're okay with that. I'm just joking. I won't talk about my dogs for 10 minutes, but shout out to Renegade and Grizzly. They've gotten me through a lot this year. Now for the real speech. James spoke earlier, and he's a good friend of mine. If you know James, you know he's famous for his Jamesisms, which are these funky one-liner phrases and his way of communicating his wisdom with the world. As I've been reflecting on my past 2 years at Darden and thinking about speaking alongside James today, I asked myself, what pieces of wisdom am I bringing with me coming out of this experience? These past 2 years have been a journey for our class. Lauren Hamlet put it perfectly in an Instagram post this week. The photo was of lush Flagler Courtyard and the crisp white tent set up in celebratory fashion for last lecture and section send-offs. And next to the tent, there was a tree that had been split in half and fallen down on top of the tent. It had been struck in a storm the night before. For the people putting on the event, this was a classic last-minute surprise that they've all become pros at handling over the past year. And the caption read, "This sums up our Darden experience. Beautiful with a bit of chaos." For me personally, 2020 was the hardest year of my life. And it was the people at Darden, my friends, Carrie, Annie, Taylor, Jack, and Lauren. It was my team, Enrique, Tom, Sarah, Ed, Mark, and the DSA board. It was my therapist, Debbie, and my family, my mom, Dad, Laura, and Karen, who are the reason I'm still here after such a painful time. And as I've begun to heal, I've come out stronger, and I have a few lessons learned. So here are my 8 lessons learned from Darden. Number 1 is from Debbie Wilson. Don't abandon yourself. It took me a while to feel comfortable not apologizing for who I am. But once I was able to be unapologetically myself and embrace what my values are and what I want to prioritize, I felt so free. So don't abandon yourself. Number 2 is from Tom. Meet people where they are. Over the past year, there were times when it was hard to even get out of bed in the morning. And there were times when I felt like a superhero. I was lucky enough to have a support system who were patient with me through those ups and downs. And ultimately, I found peace, giving myself the grace and patience of accepting where I was at any given time and being okay with that. Number 3 is from Taylor Swift. A friend to all is a friend to none. My dad always taught me you can never have too many friends. And I agree with that. While I love getting to know all types of people, feeling included and trying to be inclusive, I found that when I tried to please everyone, I didn't bring value to anyone. It took courage to be okay not having everyone like me. So a friend to all is a friend to none. Number 4 is from Professor Sarah Sarasvathy. The best answer you can get is a hard and fast no. I'm learning this as I'm fundraising for my search fund. Rejection is hard, but it's more painful when it's drawn out. And the times when I was able to receive a quick no, or find ways to give kind and fast answers to others, I was able to move forward more quickly. So the best answer you can receive is a hard and fast no. Number 5 is from Annie Polizzi. Change is gradual. One of my favorite parts of our friendship is the runs that we go on together. Sometimes we're really not feeling it, and it feels like the end of the road is so far away. Annie taught me to focus on the step right in front of you. And before we knew it, we ran a half marathon together. So change is gradual. Number 6 is from Coco Woltz. Have a bias toward action. So many times over the past 2 years, I had no idea what I was doing. The times when I just took the leap and experimented with something, I found so much joy. It didn't always turn out great, but we learned and iterated along the way, and we created some pretty cool stuff. So have a bias toward action. Number 6 is from Martin Howell. Check your perspective. Over the past year, it was easy to compare things to normal times. But the moments I was able to focus on this time here versus this time elsewhere, I found gratitude. So check your perspective. And number 8, and the last lesson learned, is to operate in the present. This is from Jack Johnson. Jack Johnson talks about surfing, and I found that when I'm doing outdoor activities or going through the process of making a pour-over coffee in the morning, being intentional and allowing myself to slow down brings focus to the present. In talking to Luis Zelda this week, he took this a step further and reminded me that if you can't live in the present, how can you plan for the future? Thank all of you and to the class of 2021 for contributing to an experience where I was able to learn so much more than I thought possible in business school. And let's hold these lessons close as we venture into the rest of our lives. I'll let Laleen take it from here.
Thank you, Megan. Almost the end. Dear class of 2021, let's go! Let's go! This is it! This is the magical moment. This is that feeling, that moment that you feel as you're jumping from one stone to another. Your feet are off the ground and nothing is holding you except for the momentum you created. All your focus, all your intensity directed at making sure that you land safely. But something nags you in the back of your head. You wonder about what is to come, and you might ask, how is this all going to play out? As you linger in this moment, I invite you to change your questions once again and ask a different question. What is the story I want to write? Because we all have those stories that we know so well, and we insist on living them. They might be repetitive narratives that we played out over and over and over again in our lives. Sometimes our stories are more interested in the impossible. Other times, we give ourselves no second chances. Our stories might even shape a future in which we are bound to fall short. What if instead, starting today, you choose to write, narrate, and live your own story a little bit differently? The brilliant visual artist Kehinde Wiley says that portraiture is a choice. It is the ability to position your body in the world for the world to celebrate you on your own terms. I believe you have a similar choice in the way you position yourselves in your own stories. So that first and foremost, you celebrate you. Then the world can see your light, welcome you, and celebrate you. In February, when I found out that I had been denied tenure, I frantically sought stories to explain what was going on. Was I not productive? Was I not good enough? Am I not wanted? In the end, the answers are irrelevant. I know my story, and I make the choice to celebrate me. Today, I speak these words to myself and to you because we are in this together. I guess I'm also a member of class of 2021. Now, let's ask ourselves, what is the story we want to live by? Because the choice is ours. So pick up the pen, come on. This is a perfect time because we're on the brink of something big, something new, something exciting. Earlier, my student and classmates, dear friend James Peterson, called us to take action. Joining the sentiments James shared, I believe that you have within you what it takes to accept this invitation and to act and shape your story. You have sown the seeds and taken the steps over the past 2 years to be able to take action and make an impact. And if there is any doubt, any inkling, any question in your minds whether you can do that, let me tell you what I see in you. I know you can do this because when the world pushed against you, so hard against you, especially over the past 15 months, you pushed right back, stronger, with something better. And you did that with kindness, with patience, with tenderness. I know this because you volunteered countless hours to benefit others. Look at people sitting right here with you. For them, first years, incoming students, staff, faculty, general, broader community, organizations, you name it, you did it. You gave your all. I know this because you came up with creative ways for this community to connect and grow in the shelter of each other. I know this because you recognize the experiences of others near and far, and you use your voice to amplify the voices of them who were silent and who were silenced. I know this because you insisted on urgent and immediate action around issues of diversity, equity, inclusion, against discrimination, systemic racism, and institutionalized hatred. And I know this because I've seen you shorten that commute from your head to your hearts. You did that through tough conversations. You did that through listening to and sharing personal and delicate stories. And I personally know this because you have shown me your love, your care, your kindness. When I was down and broken in those trenches like you wrapped me up and held me. Thank you. Thank you so much. I want to do this before we all walk out of these doors. Thank you for reminding me to be kind to myself when I write my own story. Poet and activist Andre Gibson says that everyone's chest is a living room wall with awkwardly placed photographs that hiding fist-sized holes. Remember that quote when you are writing your story. Be kind to yourself then. Write yourself a beautiful story. Celebrate you. So here we are now, ready to take a leap. So I invite everyone here today, and those of you who are joining us from around the world, watching us online, to join us. I want to do one final thing with you, which is a visualization, and I want us to do this all together. Close your eyes. Imagine we are standing on the edge of something, on this cliff. Under our toes, we feel that sharp edge, that line that separates the ground beneath us and what is beyond. We feel this rain, maybe this cold air, and our bodies are swaying from left to right, from left to right. We gaze down for a second, and our hearts jump. We see a sudden drop. And then we sort of move our gaze out from our feet, and we see these deep blues and greens that extend into the horizon. Take a breath with me, a deep one. And imagine yourself taking a few big steps back. And hold it. On the count of 3, let's run and jump together. Ready? 3, 2, Congratulations. We're very proud of you and we love you.